It's Selection Sunday, so where's Alabama headed?
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back into Locked On Bama. Luke Robinson, that's me. Jimmy Stein, that's him. This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn, and we'll talk about LinkedIn in just a minute. And thank you for making us your first listen every single day. You guys are awesome. So, Jimmy, today is Selection Sunday, and, I've seen Alabama still pretty steady at the 4 seed. Now, we're doing this before the selection show. You and I do plan to probably even go live, maybe even during the selection process, so that we can get that natural reaction about where we're headed. And so I've seen this in places like Spokane. I've seen this in UConn's region. I've seen this in North Carolina's region. I've seen this in all these places. It won't matter soon enough, but I do love the guessing game of it all. I have seen also people put us in Salt Lake, potentially matching up against BYU in the next round, which again is crazy to me because we're the 4, they would be the 5. And yet they get to play in Utah where they are? That didn't make sense to me, but whatever. Jimmy, how relieved are you Selection Sunday is here, and how relieved are you that we don't have to worry about being selected?
Well, thanks to Nate Oats, right? I mean, I think sometimes we have a tendency to take things for granted when things are going well. And this will be, the 4th NCAA tournament in a row for Oats. Alabama went through an 11-year period where they were only invited to the tournament one time in 11 years.
That's embarrassing.
That's crazy. And there's this idea out there that it's easy to make the tournament every year. That's not true. Just Google longest active NCAA tournament streaks, and you might be shocked at how few blue blood programs actually make the tournament every single year. That's really more of a fallacy than a thing. I mean, making the tournament even 4 years in a row is a significant achievement. If you don't think so, like I said, Google and see how many other teams have made it in all 4 years that Alabama has. Not only is Alabama making it, Luke, Alabama's making it as a high seed, a 4 seed. Only, I just looked this up, only 7 Alabama teams in history have been a 4 seed or higher in the NCAA tournament. So this is actually one of the great resumes Alabama's ever shown up with. Top 8 in school history. So we do take, I think, the success for granted and instead dwell a little bit on what's not going well, because the team obviously is struggled defensively. I would go so far as to say one of the things I would like to look up once we know the field for certain, who's in the field, Luke. I think there's a chance Alabama may have the lowest defensive ranking in the entire field, that Alabama will be the worst defensive team in the entire NCAA tournament field. But Alabama's success is explained by they're also, per KenPom, right now as we speak, the 3rd best offense in all of college basketball, and that's why they are where they are. So I'm curious to see where it goes. And if people want a prediction, which won't matter about 7 hours from right now, but I think Alabama will be a 4 seed. And if we're going to guess an opponent, how about maybe Vermont or College of Charleston? I think are 2 very possible first round.
McNeese State has been thrown out there, and we don't want any of that. I'm telling you, McNeese State's good, and they're coached by Will Wade. Now, Oats had his way with Will Wade for the most part, but I don't want that game. I'm not scared of them. I just don't want to play it. It's not worth it to me. But, Jimmy, you made a great point, and I want to tell people about this because I did Google it, and that's if you heard a commercial in the background, it's because I hate it when I'm Googling something and then a commercial just pops up while I got my volume on, and all of a sudden I'm selling eggs and bacon or whatever that thing was for Jack's. And anywho, you didn't hear it?
Nope.
Okay, good. All right, so here are the active streaks in the NCAA tournament, and we're going to talk about Nate Oats, his new contract in the second segment, but since you brought it up, I thought it was poignant. Michigan State's been to 25 straight. Okay, that's pretty good.
They may not get in this year. That might end. That might end right now. They're borderline getting in.
Well, and because there have been so many upsets, they might not get in. You're right. Gonzaga is second with 24. That's pretty ridiculous. And I'll tell you something. The reason I love Gonzaga, they've done it the right way. They were a no-name program, that one of those no-name small programs that I can't stand, and they built themselves up into something good. They're not just Loyola of Chicago, not trying to pick on anybody, but they just takes one good run, and then it's like everybody thinks they're the stuff. No, Gonzaga really is the stuff. I mean, Gonzaga's built it, and they've done it consistently. It's pretty awesome. The next streaks after that, Jimmy, it goes from 25-24 to 8 for Purdue, 5 for Houston, 5 for Kansas, 5 for Tennessee, 4 for Baylor, 4 for Colgate, 4 for Iowa. So right now, this is obviously this is only going from 29 to last year. So, 19 to last year. And we will be in that grouping that is right behind all of them, right behind those right there. That's pretty good. That means the schools I didn't name, by the way, in that little run, notice I didn't say Duke. At the very least, Duke is going to be tied with us. I don't know what Duke's record is. I'm just saying, at the very least, UCLA, who's not going to make it, they're not going to be tied with us. But let me think of somebody else. North Carolina.
Kentucky, North Carolina, Arizona, Indiana, Kansas. That's why it's a kind of a pet peeve of mine when I see an Alabama fan say, all I want to do is make the tournament every year and I'll be happy. Oh, so all you want to be is Michigan State or Gonzaga? Because they're the only two doing it. No one else makes the tournament every single year. That's just not a thing. It's a goal. It's nice. And Oats is doing it as we speak. But, it's just so much easier, I guess, to point to the failures. And there have been. It doesn't go perfectly. Of course it doesn't. But let's see. And here's one more point. Got a buddy making this point all the time that's so smart about this. A lot of people seen Alabama not play well lately and think, boy, this is an obvious one and done type thing. Alabama's just going to get invited to the tournament just to lose and go home. That may happen. It may happen because, as Luke pointed out about McNeese, you're going to play a good team. I don't care if it's a 13 seed. They're going to be a good team. Alabama, though, has not lost to that type team really all year. Yeah, they will have a couple of losses to teams not in the tournament, but those teams are like Ohio State, Clemson. Those teams probably beat most 13 seeds. But the point is, Alabama's record against teams lower than, let's say, a 6 seed is pretty stellar all season long and consistent. Alabama's problems have been against teams that will really all be seeded 6 or higher in this tournament.
No, that's so true. That's so true.
So I'm not going to predict a one and done. I'm going to be strong. Now I might predict. No. What I mean is, I'm not going to predict an early first round exit. I'm very likely to predict a first round win and a second round loss. I think that's the most likely scenario because I don't think Alabama's one of the 16 best teams. Though I would love to be proven wrong.
And one more thing you said about people who are like, man, when it comes to basketball, by the way, we have a faction of our fan base that almost wants to. It's like it's like Republican and Democrats, right? Like they both forget we're all Americans at sometimes. And I think like Democrats always want to point out everything badly that Republicans have done and vice versa, Republicans to Democrats. And they never want to tell you, well, there's been some good. I mean, look, I'm Joe Biden. I'm not trying to do anything, but the stock market is as high as it's ever been. I mean, that is a positive. Now we can point out some negatives very clearly, but obviously there are some things that are positive. And you can do the same thing with the Republic. I'm just pointing something out that there's a faction of our fan base that treats basketball like a redheaded stepchild. That's like, yeah, I just don't want them to embarrass me. Well, they're not. Okay, you're getting what you want. And they're, like you said, there are people that go, I just want to make a tournament every year. Well, we are as hard as we can. And so be happy. Now, in this second segment, we're going to bring up a nasty little thing that happened on Friday and then talk about Nate Oats' contract because we do need to talk about the nastiness too. It wasn't pretty. And we're going to do that right after I tell you about a couple of cool sponsors. And I hope I'm putting up, and I did put up the right banner. Whew,
Nissan.
awesome. This week's March Madness bracket highlight is brought to you by our friends at Nissan. Each week, we're picking one team that stands out, the team that's pushed it farther than the rest, just like any of the all-new 2024 Nissan SUVs. These guys were able to make it to the next level and take it to the next level. The Houston Cougars can only be described as an Armada. The top-seeded team, we think they might be, is as hardcore as it gets out there. So no wonder they've expected to land a top seed in the tournament after their first season in the Big 12. The Tennessee Volunteers can only be described as a Pathfinder. They've been thrilling to watch and have created a lane for themselves after claiming the top spot in the SEC. Player of the Year candidate Dalton Connect has carried the balls all season and made them something to watch in March. And then the Utah State Aggies are obviously this week's Nissan Rogue. The team is absolutely surprised all of us with a powerful performance against New Mexico, giving them their first outright Mountain West title in program history. They say win in life, go rogue, and that's exactly what the Aggies have done here. Take the Nissan Rogue, Nissan Pathfinder, or Nissan Armada and go find your next big adventure. Shop NissanUSA.com. No, not com. I tried to make that cute and I screwed it up. Shop NissanUSA.com. Shop NissanUSA.com. Boy, I screwed that up. I tried to make it cute. Sorry, y'all. That's on me. All right, now I need to tell everybody. I've just ruined the whole Nissan thing.
No, I'm fascinated with these sponsors. Are great. Nissan, Fire TV. Both of these are must buys.
I love them. I do. I love them. I'm not going to end anything with .com anymore, by the way. Okay. Fire TV is your destination for sports, from live games to highlights to in-depth analysis. Fire TV also offers amazing viewing experiences with smart TVs as well as Fire Stick TV that you can plug into any existing TV that provides access to millions of movies and TV episodes as well as free and live TV. I said TV a lot. Whether it's opening weekend for baseball or the college basketball tournament, you're going to want Fire TV. I promise you that. Fire TV recently created the Fire TV channels to deliver a constant supply of the latest videos from your favorite sports brands. This is all for free, by the way. That includes all of us at Locked On and most of the big pro leagues and college conferences as well. Fire TV lets you dive into all the game analysis, highlights, and more to keep up to date on the latest in the world of sports, March Madness, NBA, etc. Look, to learn more, just visit Amazon.com, Locked On Fire TV. That's Amazon.com, Locked On Fire TV. God, .com is so stupid. I can't believe I did that. And I don't know how to fix it.
.com-y. Yeah, that's the first. We've been doing the show for a while. I think that's the first.
I try to get cute sometimes, and it always backfires because I forget I'm pushing 52. I'm far from cute. So, anywho, shout out to the baseball. We're not going to talk about it today, but shout out to the baseball team beating Tennessee last night. Tennessee, pretty hell squad. By the way, on the live read on Nissan,
Tennessee's number 6.
The irony on the Nissan live read I just did, Houston, Tennessee, and Utah State, none of them won their conference tournament, but I digress. All right, so Friday, Jimmy, Alabama played Florida, and it started out 8-0, and I thought, okay, here we go. We've got our act together. I really did. I felt like we're about to just pummel these guys. That thought went through my head. From that point forward, it was Katie bar the door because Florida just took it right to us. They used every advantage they have, which is mostly their height. We couldn't drive. We couldn't shoot. We couldn't pass very well. Somehow, some way, again, I can't explain how this happens every game. Mark Sears ended up with 22. I don't know how. And we gave up over 100 points again to Florida. Look, it was embarrassing. I wish it hadn't happened. At the same time, can we all agree it was embarrassing at that time? Shoot, I'm glad it was the 9 o'clock game or whatever it was, so most people didn't stay up to watch all that. But it's over, and nobody's talking about it anymore except us right here because we feel obligated to tell you, yes, we saw that craziness. It was awful, but we're not super upset about it. At least I'm not, Jimmy. I can't speak for you, but I'm not super upset about it. I didn't like it in the moment. The next day, I just sort of moved on because I'm like, tomorrow's Selection Sunday. I'm not going to worry about this at all.
Yeah, I think, and since now we've played Florida for 120 minutes, we've played them at home. We played them in Gainesville. Now we played them in the neutral site. I think it's pretty clear, basketball's a game of matchups. And the Florida matchup for us is just not a good one for Alabama. That's just not a team we match up with well. And by that, I mean, I think what Florida's really good at, we're sort of bad at. And we either make threes or we score at the basket. And scoring at the basket is very difficult against Florida with their length. And I think that's what helps make the matchup, not a great one for us. And we haven't played great in those games against Florida. And frankly, I'm just glad that we're sort of done with them. It doesn't mean that Alabama's a terrible team because Florida's a good team. They're going to be a top 6 seed in this tournament, and they may win the SEC today, SEC tournament today against Auburn. I think Auburn's going to win, but I'm not going to be surprised if Florida wins. Good team, very well coached, good players. They just have our number a little bit and just proved to be a bad matchup. We're very fortunate to even win the game at home. It took us overtime to beat them in Tuscaloosa. So, I don't think the team is playing its best basketball of the year, but I also think this team's been pretty consistent. If you go all the way back to Christmas, I mean, they do a great job of beating the teams they should, and they struggle against really good teams. And that should tell us something right there about where Alabama ranks and how good or not great this team is. But they are very consistent in terms of beating the teams that they should, and they will be a strong favorite in a first-round game. The beauty of being a 4 seed, if that happens, is you play a 13 in the first round, and that's someone that Alabama will be favored to beat, and Alabama should beat. And I think that there's a good chance that they will. You got a week now to practice with Rylan Griffin back, with Latrell Wrightsell back. You got a week to put it together. And I think it would, by the way, it would behoove Alabama to play on Friday and not Thursday. I think we would use the one more day of rest. So look for that in terms of maybe that's an advantage to Alabama playing on Friday and not Thursday. But there's a 50-50 shot, right?
And I've always thought, like, playing on Friday, it feels like you kind of made it to the second round or the first.
Made it to the second day. We made it to the second day.
Round. Like if you lose Thursday in that 11-15 game, it feels like you weren't even there.
And I think that's happened to Alabama before. Did we do that?
I know it's happened to us.
Yeah, I think we've done that. We played the first game of the tournament starting on Thursday and lose and go home, and you're like, it's like we weren't even there. But this team's a little different.
I want to play Saturday at 8:00 at night. That's what Friday at 8:00 at night. That's what I want to do. And then, because then people are like,
rest. Let's open.
We're in the Sweet 17 at that point.
You made it to the weekend. Let's play out West Coast, that late night West Coast game Friday night. Feel like you made it all the way to the weekend.
Okay, so Jimmy, Nate Oats gets a huge contract extension. Where all the details aren't out, I don't believe.
Correct.
And he makes him one of the top 5 highest coaches paid in the country. And the timing could not have been worse in the sense that he signs this huge contract, then we go out and get pummeled by Florida. And I know that there's some smart-ass Alabama fans and smart-ass other rival fans. I expect it from them, not from us, where they were like, oh, boy, he really earned that contract. He has earned that contract. Do you people not see? I mean, we need Nate Oats here as badly as anybody needs a coach anywhere else. Nate Oats is perfect for Alabama. He's doing a fantastic job. Okay, we didn't win the SEC this year, and we didn't win the SEC tournament, and we got knocked out in the first round, and we gave up 100 points to several people. We also scored 100 points a lot. We're exciting. Around the country, Alabama's brand is better than it is in state, which is weird, but it's true. And we were in the thick of it. He lost all of his assistants. He's about to lose another one to probably UTEP, I think it is, right?
UTSA.
I knew it was something like that. UTSA. He's Austin Claunch is going to UTSA, it looks like. So we're going to lose another assistant, and that's the mark of a coach that has good assistants and has a good eye for assistants because other people want them. And recruiting is going gangbusters. Couldn't be going better. So, guys, we need Nate Oats here. I applaud this contract. I applaud Greg Byrne for doing this. And the other thing, Alabama's brand in basketball is as high as it's ever been. And one of the reasons is not only just Nate Oats winning games, but also scheduling very difficult games. Next year, we welcome in Arizona to Birmingham. I'm assuming Creighton will be returning to Tuscaloosa. I don't think that's been totally finalized or maybe authenticated. And And I assume we'll have some other big name games. We're going to have an ACC challenge game with somebody, probably a good team.
Might be playing that NIL tournament in Las Vegas where each team playing in it, the players are getting paid a significant amount of money. The players will be paid a significant amount of money to play in this tournament in Vegas. Alabama is one of the teams that may be invited to that. So
that'll be awesome.
That'll be a loaded field, literally in every way.
And we would be the first group to ever do that. That's just awesome. I mean, again, if there's anybody out there who is dogging Nate Oats because of what happened against Florida or the way that we limped to the finish line, I get it. I get the limping to the finish line is disappointing. And I get that we had the SEC. We felt like we had the SEC and we should at least tie for the title, and we didn't. Okay. But at the beginning of the year, we didn't think we were going to be doing that. And he took us further than we thought we could be. And here's the thing. How many other teams have the record we have and have enough respect? We've got 11 losses and we're still going to be a 4 seed. That's not typical for an Alabama team. And it only works if you schedule difficult and people respect you. And we got respect. And that's my Godfather thing. All right. It's awful. I know. Jimmy, we're going to come back and talk a little football because everybody loves football. But I do need to tell everybody about LinkedIn. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for your role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. Come on now. LinkedIn has a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place to hire. It gives you access to professionals you can't find anywhere else. You can look under a rock. You can't find them. LinkedIn's got them, though. LinkedIn does all that while making the process easy and intuitive. Hiring is easy when you have that many quality candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. That's crazy talk. LinkedIn knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats and they might not have the time or resources to hire. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions, they're gonna apply. Football-wise, Jimmy, what you got for us today, bro?
I think we got some upcoming commitments we need to talk about. Duke Williams, number 2 athlete in the country, one of the top prospects in all of Georgia. He's going to be announcing his commitment on March 20th, I believe. And BOL, we like Alabama's position with Duke Williams very much. Nothing's in the bag, nothing's certain. We'll let the kid announce to the world what he's going to do on March 20th, but really like Alabama's chances here. He's an athlete, but Alabama, I think, sees him as a linebacker. And boy, how exciting is that to sign a kid who projects to play linebacker, who is so athletic. People talk about him. Is he going to be a DB? Is he going to be a wide receiver? Can he play H-back? I mean, this is a kid capable athletically of moving around and playing a lot of spots. The fact that he would be a linebacker at Alabama is really exciting because you can tell what kind of a plus athlete he would be. Another linebacker from Georgia, Luke Metz, he might be making a decision pretty soon too. This is a kid that's not as highly ranked. If you're looking to help the recruiting rankings, maybe this isn't your guy right now. But watch the tape and realize that Luke Metz has 8 SEC offers, 8 plus Michigan. And there's many other offers too. But in terms of like his best offers, 8 SEC offers and Michigan. This is not a lightly recruited, lightly regarded kid. He's just at this point not ranked super high, but Alabama likes him. Hey, look, you don't take the B list here. People need to realize this is early. You're only taking kids you absolutely see, and you're like, I want this guy on my team. So Alabama's only recruiting from their A list right now. So this kid is an A list dude for Kane Womack and Alabama's defense. So Luke Metz, very possible to Alabama. Duke Williams, very possible to Alabama. And again, Duke is very highly rated.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun to watch. He commits on March 20th. Certainly we'll be covering that all week long. Any other visit news from the weekend or recruiting news?
Lots of kids are lining up now. They're starting to line up their official visits. But one thing to watch is this week, Alabama returns to the practice field. There will be, I think off the top of my head, I should have looked at the schedule before we got on, but I think there's only 2 practices during the week this week. But the list of kids coming to practice, it's not going to rival that last practice where Alabama had 70 prospects at one practice. Won't be that. But there's a lot of big names. And, of course, this all culminates in A-Day, which is now, as we speak, Luke, A-Day less than 4 weeks away. I'm hoping for a massive crowd and a great weather day as Alabama is going to play their A-Day game on ESPN, the only spring game that is being shown on the big network. It's only Alabama. Let's show up for Kalen DeBoer and show the country that Alabama fans are completely behind Kalen DeBoer, and we're excited about this new era of Alabama football.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch. It's all still developing, obviously, but A-Day can't get here soon enough for me. I'm thrilled about it, and it comes at a time that's perfect. I mean, the NCAA tournament sort of wraps up, and then A-Day's here, and it's just great because – I'm one of those people that, I prefer the fall and the winter just because I stay so hot all the time in the summer, and also football season. I don't really care about baseball. So, the summer sort of gets to me. But anyway, Jimmy, we're going to be back with some live reaction and probably live actual real-time reaction to the bracket reveal. So I'm excited about that. We're going to do that this afternoon. Y'all please join us then, roughly 5 o'clock. So until then, roll tide, everybody.
Roll tide.